Alright guys, we are back with some more MX versus ATV Legends. Today we have monumental, huge, massive news to share with you. So it was teased that Season 3 would be announced on today, the day you see this video, Wednesday. And to kick it off, we're getting 2024 Monster Energy Supercross DLC in the game. Pretty crazy. That is crazy. I know I saw some people asking for it, especially when we found out Milestone wouldn't be doing it this year, but didn't know if it was actually going to happen. It is. So you will see something on screen going over the release dates and what tracks and stuff and when to, dates to have saved for importance and whatnot. But yeah, it's going to be 16 tracks. Yes, you might be saying to yourself, well, it's 17. Yes, it is 17. But we don't get Daytona. And you might say, why not? Well, Daytona is kind of its own thing. It's a bit different, but we have seen this before. So if you're familiar with the MX versus ATV games and series, you know that Supercross Encore did the 2017 replicas as well. And we didn't have Daytona in that game either. We got 16 tracks, I believe. So I'm not surprised we don't have Daytona, but yeah, no Daytona. All the other tracks will be the correct ones and the replicas. So if you pay attention to the drop dates for each pack of tracks, the first one is going to give us 7 tracks and then 3 drops after that with 3 tracks in each drop. So that's kind of how it's going to be. And some of them will be based off the real life track, so the real life race. But then some of them, because of the way the timing works, will be based off the track map. So some of them might not be perfect and exact to the way the real life track was, but I did talk to Rainbow a bit, and they said that they want to do everything they can to make these tracks as realistic and accurate and authentic as possible. So if there are some changes to some of the tracks that are based off the track map, they will go back in and make changes to it if necessary. Similar to what they did with the Pro Motocross tracks. For example, Redbud had some pretty big changes to it, so they had to go in and adjust there. So it'll be similar to that. It might not be exact right away, especially, again, if it is based off the track map, but they do have plans to update it and make it accurate eventually. So huge news, crazy. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Were you around for Supercross Encore when they did this with the 2017 replicas? I was, and it was awesome. Now, the only complaint I have, and it's a really dumb complaint, it really is, but it would have been cool if, I get that they couldn't get the first set of tracks maybe ready for the beginning of the season, so they are going to drop 7 tracks in that first pack. That's fine. But it would have been really cool if after that they would have done weekly releases, maybe release it on a Tuesday before the race, and then we have the week to play on that track and, get hyped up for the next race that same weekend. That's kind of what they did with the Supercross Encore replicas. But that, at the time, live service updating the game wasn't as big as it is now, and the studio was very, very small at the time then, too. So the tracks, I believe, are supposed to come out on Tuesday, but on all platforms, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, but those releases were all over the place. We never really knew which platform would get them first. Sometimes it was days later, and it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare for knowing when you would get the track. So I know they've gotten really good at it. I mean, they did that with the Pro Motocross tracks, but they chose to not do it with Supercross. But small complaint, it would have been really cool, but I'm just happy to have them. I'm very happy that this is a huge way to kick off Season 3, the 3rd season for MX vs. ATV Legends. And I want to say that I do think that the reason they did, now I don't know this for sure, I haven't talked to Rainbow about it, nothing, I don't believe they've said anything about it either, but it almost feels like they did these kind of soft remakes of the base Supercross tracks with the expert Supercross tracks in preparation for making the 2024 Monster Energy Supercross replica tracks, the 16 tracks we get. It kind of feels like it. Now, no, I haven't played on the new tracks. I haven't seen them, nothing, but it feels like it. So when those tracks finally do come out, it'll be interesting to see if they are more similar to the expert style tracks they've done in Supercross, or if they're more similar to the original style they did, you know? So it just feels like that's possibly the reason. So this is awesome. February 20 cannot get here fast enough. We get 7 tracks right away, right off the bat. We get 7 tracks. This is so cool. And I want to see how well the tracks were done and how well they play in this game. So another thing I want to comment on, because it's kind of funny. So Rainbow Studios did the replicas in 2017 for Supercross Encore. And then that following January or February or March, we got Supercross, the first Supercross game from Milestone. And those tracks were the same tracks that we already had in MX versus ATV. And it's shaping up to be a similar thing for this, because we get the 2024 tracks in MX versus ATV. And then if the rumors and it's not even rumors, if everything that's been confirmed basically is going to happen, Milestone will be doing the 2024 Monster Energy Supercross season. So we'll see these exact same tracks in Supercross basically a year later, right? So it's just kind of funny how that came out, but yeah. So this isn't just about Monster Energy Supercross. It is also about the Season 3 happening for 2024. And one thing, I don't know what they're all going to announce for Wednesday, but there's some stuff that the community really wants, right? Let me know in the comments if what I'm going to mention is stuff that you want, or if there's other things that you want to see added in the Season 3. So, to start things off, we have the sound. Now, the sound won't be a DLC that you have to pay for. At least I don't expect it to be. It would be criminal if it was. But sound, I would say, is probably number 1 by most people's, requests for the game. Sound, a photo mode, a replay mode, and pit bikes. I would say those would be 3 big things that the player base wants in the game for this year. Now, Rainbow Studios does say it, and it is true. They are a very small studio. So I've seen social medias talking about how MX vs. ATV is saying that it's tough for them. Sometimes they have to move people around to work on stuff that needs to get done as a priority, so they can't keep working on, for example, the sound or whatever. I mean, that's just an example. So they probably won't be able to do everything that you want, but what would be the main things that you want to see added in MX vs. ATV Legends for Season 3? We probably will get the Pro Motocross tracks. It's just, those tracks don't change very much, so they'll probably be virtually the same as they were the year before. This Monster Energy Supercross 2024 official tracks DLC will make up for having the Pro Motocross tracks. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they're not going to do the Pro Motocross tracks. I assume they would. And one thing I want to say here real quick before we finish the video, it would be so cool if MX vs. ATV did a Super Motocross DLC at the end of the year. So they have the official tracks minus Daytona. They have the Pro Motocross tracks. So all they would need to do is do 3 playoff tracks. That would be such a cool way to end, because it's at the end of the year, kind of, it would be a great way to kind of end Season 3 with the 3 playoff races at the very end. It would just be so cool. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, unless you prefer to have a compound or whatever, I personally would love to have the Super Motocross tracks, because then you basically would have the 2024 Super Motocross and MX vs. ATV Legends with the Supercross tracks, the Motocross tracks, and then the playoff tracks. So that would be a big one for me to do the Super Motocross tracks, but maybe they already have it, figured out what they want to do and all that stuff. Maybe they have a compound planned and whatnot. So yeah, that's just some of the things that I would personally want to see in the game. And and brought to the game as far as content and updates and whatnot for Season 3. And yeah, we'll see what you guys say and go from there. But yeah, are you excited? I'm pretty hyped up. Even if you're not the biggest fan of Legends, this is big news and good for moto games. It's really good for moto games in general. And yeah, February 20, I should have had something on screen for you. February 20, March 5, March 26, and April 23. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.